So today I sat down and decided to make another video about a Soviet vehicle. After thinking extremely hard for a while, I decided to make a video about the ASU-85. How did I get to this idea? Well, I remembered a traumatic experience during the Battle of Stalingrad in which I was operating an ASU-85 and was promoted to the casualty list by a 50 cal which straight up just penetrated my frontal armor. I remember asking my friend in the afterlife how this could happen, and he told me this tank's armor was basically made of paper because it needed to be air transportable. And this paper tank is what we're going to talk about today. Let's get straight into it. On September 15, 1953, the Council of Ministers of the USSR gave orders to Special Design Bureau 40 aka OKB 40 at Plant Number 40 to create a lightweight self-propelled gun designed to work against infantry and tanks. The vehicle was meant to serve multiple roles. It would be used by motorized rifle units, tank units, and airborne troops. The development of this new assault gun for the military started at the OKB 40 Design Bureau of the Mytishchi machine building plant, led by chief designer Nikolai Alexandrovich Astrov. The first prototype, called Object 573, was completed and tested in 1953. After this, 3 upgraded versions were built and tested by the armed forces between 1956 and 1957. These upgraded versions had a new engine, the YAMZ-206V, which was a flat 6-cylinder diesel engine with an output of 210 horsepower, a maximum speed of 45 km per hour, and an operational range of 360 km with additional fuel tanks mounted at the rear. This replaced the V6 engine which the Object 573 used from the PT-76 tank. On July 6, 1958, the military approved the production of the assault gun under the name ASU-85, even though there already was another Soviet assault gun with the name ASU-85. Serial production ran from 1956 to 1964, while some sources state it lasted until 1966. From 1959, it began replacing the open-top ASU-57 in service. As we've seen many times in the history of armored vehicles, by the time production began, the design was already becoming outdated. In the 1960s, the airborne troops became the main users of the ASU-85. They renamed it the ASU-85 to reflect its role as a self-propelled gun for their units. They called it the Avia-Desantnaya Samochodnaya Ustanovka, basically meaning airborne self-propelled mount. However, official Soviet documents nevertheless use the name ASU-85. The ASU-85 is built on the chassis of the PT-76 tank, but without its amphibious capabilities and with a new engine. The crew consists of a commander, driver, gunner, and loader. The vehicle is divided into 3 compartments: the driver's compartment at the front right, the fighting compartment in the middle, and the engine compartment at the back. The loader and commander sat one behind the other on the right side of the main gun, while the gunner was positioned on the left side of the gun. The ASU-85's hull is designed to protect the crew from small and medium caliber armor-piercing shells. This is achieved by angling the front and side armor plates, which makes it harder for incoming rounds to penetrate. The bottom of the hull is reinforced with a corrugated design, making the structure stronger. In case of emergencies, the crew can escape through a hatch located in the floor of the vehicle. This ensured they have a way out if the main exits are blocked. Its main weapon is an 85mm D72A15 gun, featuring a monoblock barrel equipped with a muzzle brake and an ejector to remove residual propellant gases from the barrel. The gun is based on the D48, designed by Fyodor Fyodorovich Petrov. The gun weighs 1,865 kilograms and can move up and down between -4.5 degrees and +15 degrees, while it can rotate 15 degrees to either side. It uses the same ammunition as the D48 gun, including HEAT, HVAPT, and HE shells. It can carry 45 rounds. The gun's effective range is 1,150 meters, and it can fire as far as 10 kilometers. It can pierce up to 192 millimeters of steel armor from 1 kilometer away at a 60-degree angle. Next to the main gun is a coaxial machine gun, either an SGMT or PKT model, with a supply of 2,000 rounds. To aim the main gun and machine gun, the crew uses the T-Shake K279 sight. For night operations, they switch to the TPN 17911 sight paired with an L2 infrared searchlight. For indirect non-line of sight firing, the S71-79 and PG-1 sights are used with an artillery panoramic viewfinder. The commander also has two observation tools, the TNPK-20 for daytime and the TKN-1T for nighttime. The ASU-85 is equipped with an R113 radio for communication and an R120 intercom for talking within the crew. However, the R113 radio was eventually replaced with the R123. In the 1970s, some ASU-85 were upgraded with a 12.7mm DSHKM heavy machine gun and 600 rounds of ammunition. These models, called ASU-85M, had fewer main gun rounds, 39 instead of 45, and were given the NATO designation ASU-85M 1974. Additionally, the ASU-85 could be fitted with BDSH-5 smoke generators for creating smoke screens. Even though the ASU-85 was specifically designed for airborne troops, at first it could only be moved by Antonov and 12 planes or Mi-6 helicopters. Weighing 15.5 tons, it was too heavy to be dropped using parachutes when it was first introduced. It wasn't until 2006 when pictures popped up showing the ASU-85 on an airborne platform called the P-16M, equipped with a multi-canopy parachute system, likely the MKS-1400. This P-16 platform could handle loads of up to 21 tons. Despite this development, transporting the ASU-85 by planes or helicopters remained the main way to deploy it. The ASU-85 was the primary SPG in service with the airborne forces of the Soviet Union from 1959 until the introduction of the two S-9 Nona S SPG in the early 1980s. The Soviet airborne forces used the ASU-85 in airborne missions, mainly to support light infantry or for assaults. It could also take on tanks, but this wasn't its main purpose. Each airborne division had one battalion of assault guns, which included 31 ASU-85s. The Soviet Union only exported the ASU-85 to two other Warsaw Pact countries, East Germany and Poland. The ASU-85 was made suitable for airborne deployment thanks to the introduction of large Mi-6 and Mi-10 helicopters, as well as advanced parachute systems and retro-rocket technology for dropping the vehicles from airplanes. NATO first noticed the ASU-85 in 1962, and it became a common sight in Soviet and Polish airborne units. During the Soviet-Afghan War, the ASU-85 was used by Soviet airborne troops in combat. In 2016, Vietnam showed interest in a modernization package for the ASU-85 offered by Belarus. This upgrade would include a more powerful engine, increasing the vehicle's speed from 45 to 60 kilometers per hour and extending its driving range from 400 to 450 kilometers. Anyways, that was all I had to say for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you think I said anything that is not right, or you think I should have added any additional information to this video, please let me know in the comments and share your knowledge. Besides that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.